Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man walah, amma ba'du, fa inna asdaqal hadithi kitabullah wa khairul hadi Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa sharrul umuri muhdathatuha wa kulla muhdathatin bid'ah wa kulla bid'atin dalala wa kulla dalalatin finnar. Can you brothers hear me?
Yeah.
طيب. Abdullah.
I can hear you, Abu Sumaya. It seems she cannot hear you.
We can't hear you, Akhi. Are you muted for some reason? Oh, he went out.
I can hear him. He says he will go out and come back.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
There we go. طيب. We said we're going to take some time to review An-Nahw al-Wadih. Inshallah ta'ala. Make sure that we have the principles, if not down, then at least understood. And there's this book here that we have called Qawa'idu Kitab An-Nahw al-Wadih, which someone basically took all the rules that we would learn at the end of every section after going over the examples in the bahth. Then there would be the qaida or the qawa'id, the rules that would be there. Basically, they took those rules and put them in just the rules along with the chapter title or the section title. So there's no examples, there's no examples, there's no bahth, there's no anything except the rule. No problem. I have the book pulled up over here in case we need to go over it, inshallah ta'ala. In case we need to look at some examples or read the bahth, then I have that for us. So these qawa'id from the book Kitab An-Nahw al-Wadih, this is for the al-marhalatu al-ibtidaiyya, the middle school or the beginning, what do they call it? Primary school, not middle school, but primary school level. And this primary school level, this book that we have, that we've been studying, has 3 sections, and we covered 2 of them. And there is no middle school level unless they've developed one now, but originally when the books were developed, there was a primary school, which was considered basically 1 through 8, and then there was a high school, right? So there's 2 books. Because you're not really going to teach this to 1st and 2nd graders. You're going to teach this to 5th and 6th and 7th, 8th graders. Just like in school, at least when I was young, we didn't learn grammar until the 5th grade. That's when we started to learn English grammar in detail. Likewise, you're going to have the same thing. So, basically, he gathered these rules, and in these rules, we find in the al-marhalatul ibtidaiyya, there are 181 rules. 181 rules. Wahid wa thamanin wa miya qaida. 181 rules. Now we covered up until Rule 99. The first 2 sections have 99 rules. However, we skipped 3 of them, dealing with ma dama, and Allah knows best if when we get there will we review it and go over it at all. But inshallah ta'ala, we're going to try our best to cover these rules, these 99 or 96 rules, in say 7 to 10 lessons bi'idhnillah ta'ala. So it should not take us long. And as we said, here are examples that if we need them, we will go over them. As we said, always studying Arabic grammar for non-Arabs is difficult. And the main difficulty of it is not the rules themselves, because they're not so hard. They're not so hard. The main difficulty is the practice. Because in these 6 sentences that we have here, maybe if you were to read them, especially for the first time, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 words. Maybe a person doesn't understand 10 of them. They don't understand 10 of the words, and so therefore, not only are they having to learn the rules, but they're having to learn the definitions of these words in order for them to make sense. Then on top of that, inside the bahth, we have all of these words that are explaining this section up here, which is even more words to learn, so on and so forth. Then we get to the qaida, which is below, and the qaida tells us more words, right? The qaida tells us even more words. If we look at this bahth, it's 2 long paragraphs, maybe 100 words. Then we get to our 2 rules, and they're probably made up of, say, 30 words. Maybe you know 10 of them. Maybe you know 15 of them. Out of these 100 or so up here, maybe you know 20 of them. And you're going to know words like hiya and anta and wa, right? But there's going to be words in here that you do not understand, like yuntaq and malfuda and so on and so forth. So the main difficulty is the vocabulary. And Allah knows best. So we're going to try our best to understand it, and this is why we go over it inside of the Matun Talib al-Ilm and so on and so forth. Hopefully we can get our examples from there and make sense out of it. Any questions before we start?
Yeah.
طيب. As we said, we have 99 rules in the first section. Al-Juz al-Awwal wa Juz al-Thani are what we went over. And inshallah ta'ala, when we come back after Ramadan, we will start Al-Juz al-Thalith. طيب. Al-Juz al-Awwal, it tells us, let me go down one and then go up. It starts out with Al-Jumla al-Mufida. Al-Jumlatu al-Mufidatu, meaning a beneficial sentence. Or if we were to translate it and have it make sense in English, we would say a complete sentence. Even though this word here doesn't mean complete, it means beneficial. The idea though in English, and everything is not translated word for word from Arabic to English, is a complete sentence. Something that gives you a complete idea. The qawaid that were brought here, number 1, at-tarkibu. At-tarkib, from rakaba yurakibu, tarkib, form 2. Ra, kaf, ba, meaning the group of words that were put together, right? The group of words, and I'm sure there's a technical term, I just can't think of it right now. At-tarkib, the group of words that were put together. Alladhi, which. Yufidu, which benefit. Fa'idatan tamatan, the group of words which benefit, a complete benefit. Fa'ida yufidu. Fa'ida is a noun coming from the verb afada yufidu. التركيب الذي يفيد فائدة تامة, the grouping of words which benefits a complete benefit, يسمى, is called جملة مفيدة. It's called a complete sentence. It's called a complete sentence or a beneficial sentence. ويسمى أيضا كلاما, and it's also called speech. So, the rule here and the benefit of going over these rules like this can also be that we can benefit from the Ajrumiyah. For anyone who may have studied it, you can benefit from some of the rules. Some of the benefits of An-Nahw al-Wadih, number one, are its ease of expressions, its plentiful examples, it breaks the Arabic grammar down into smaller pieces with more explanation than Ajrumiyah does. Ajrumiyah is basically a summarization, while this book is a study. So this is why we chose to use this book. So we have the word Muhammad. Does Muhammad, if I say the word Muhammad, do you have a complete idea, or are you waiting for some information?
Looking for information.
You're waiting for information. So therefore, Muhammad is not a jumla and is not considered kalam, right? According to the Arabic grammarians. Now, if I say Muhammad Ahmed, do you have a complete idea, or are you still waiting for information?
Still waiting.
Still waiting for information. If I say Muhammad, Ahmed, Khadija, are you waiting for information, or do you have a complete idea now?
Waiting.
طيب. Now if I say, for example, and even though this doesn't make sense here, if I say Ismi Muhammad Ahmed Khadija, do you have an idea, or are you still waiting for information?
Got an idea.
You got an idea now. You have the word, my name is, or the sentence, my name is Muhammad Ahmed Khadija. طيب. So now this is considered kalam. Even though technically, why would Khadija be here? There needs to be an ibn in between these, right? And so on and so forth.
No.
But the point is there. Now, if I say, Masmuka, right? And then you say, Muhammad. That's all you say. If I ask you, or if you ask me, what's your name, Masmuka, and I tell you Muhammad, do you have a complete idea, or are you still waiting for something?
You have a complete idea.
You have a complete idea, even though I only told you one word, because what is missing here from what is written or what is spoken is the word ismi. My name is. So this is implied, even though we don't necessarily say it. So if I say, where do you live? You say, Memphis, right? طيب. You said one word, but from that one word, I received a complete idea. So we see that it doesn't matter if you have 500 words, Muhammad, Ahmed, Shakir, right? Khadija, right? Doesn't matter, you know, how many words you put here. If they don't make sense, then it's not considered kalam. And if there's something preceding the one word, such as Ismi Muhammad, my name is Muhammad, I just say Muhammad, or I say, when is first class? And you say, today, al-yawm. Al-yawm, is one word. However, what is missing is الدرس الأول اليوم. The first class is today. So therefore, one word can make a complete idea, and it can be considered kalam, just like 500 words, if they don't have the necessary components, are not going to make kalam, even though there's a whole bunch of tarkib. You understand?
No.
So, for instance, al-jumlatu al-mufidatu. Is this kalam?
No.
Why?
Because it's giving you information.
Okay, I just told you al-jumlatu mufida, a complete sentence. That gives you information?
It's not complete. It's shibu jumla. It's
Huh?
a sentence.
What'd you say?
I said it's shibu jumla. It's part of a sentence.
Yeah, but it says al-jumlatu al-mufidatu. We have a man'ut and a not. We have a noun and an adjective. That's enough to make a sentence?
It's not enough to make a sentence.
Okay, so jumlatul mufida, is it, as it appears in this book right here, is it kalam or is it not kalam?
It's kalam.
Why?
I would say. Because
Because it's complete right here.
It's complete? What is it telling me? What if I say a complete sentence in this context?
Give you the idea.
It's not a fully complete sentence, but at least it gives us a partial idea.
Abdullah, what were you going to say?
I'm saying it's a complete, whereas technically it's not a complete sentence, just like if you said Muhammad, if you said, you know, my ismuka.
Okay,
You
so
said Muhammad.
so untechnically or non-technically, how is it a complete sentence?
Because it's giving you the idea, you know, it's saying a complete sentence.
Because in front of it we can have for instance, we can say هذا الباب الأول or الباب الأول يتكلم عن, I'm just talking, I don't know, I'm just thinking right now, يتكلم عن الجملة المفيدة. So when we see this chapter title, الجملة المفيدة, we understand that this chapter is going to be talking about complete sentences. So in and of itself like this, it is not, just like the name Muhammad isn't. However, when I say masmuka and you say Muhammad, then it is. Same thing here. Al-jumlatul mufidatu becomes a complete idea because it means that this chapter is about al-jumla al-mufida. Or it could be al-jumlatul mufida fiha qawaid. Going down to here. Right, فيها قواعد or فيها قاعدة تان. I got it. قاعدة تان. It has two rules. الجملة المفيدة فيها قاعدتان. It has two rules. These things right here, they are understood. Right? These things are understood. This sentence, either before it or after it, are understood. So, al-jumlatul mufida is technically here a sentence, a beneficial sentence, or it's considered kalam. Because there is something before it that makes it make sense, or something after it. You don't just, if for instance, before this chapter, before these two rules, I put the name Muhammad. Did that help us anything? No.
No.
But if I put al-jumlatul mufida before these two rules, does it help us in anything? Yes. What does it help us in? It gives me the idea that these rules here are going to be dealing with al-jumlatul mufida. So they are a complete sentence. That sentence, Abba Sumayya, those two words do make a complete sentence when it comes to that. Okay, so now we learn that kalam is a tarkib alladhi.
Let.
Huh?
Due to let.
Due to, I don't know what I said now, but due to something that appears before it that's understood or after it.
Okay.
Right? Due to something. So if I said هذا الباب يتكلم عن الجملة المفيدة. This chapter talks about the beneficial sentence. Or if I said الجملة المفيدة يتكون من هذه القواعد. يتكون, if I said هذا الباب يتكلم عن الجملة المفيدة. That makes sense, right? This chapter talks about الجملة المفيدة. Or if I said الجملة المفيدة تتكون من القواعد. The beneficial sentence is made up from the rules. Now you have a complete sentence, whether you block it off like that or you block it off like that. So this is a complete sentence, just like Ismi Muhammad. If I just say Muhammad is a complete sentence. Right? And if I put Al-Jumlatul Mufida An-Nahw wal-Man'ut wal-Mudaf Ilay wa Muhammad Ahmed, Allah, Rasul, Kitab, Hisab, Hasub. I said a bunch of words, but they did not make a Jumlatul Mufida because they had no connection and they made no sense whatsoever. So that's the first rule here. Is that understood?
No.
The second rule. Al-Jumlatul Mufidatu قد تتركب من كلمتين وقد تتركب من أكثر وكل كلمة فيها تعد جزءا منها. الجملة المفيدة, the beneficial sentence or the complete sentence. قد, here has the possibility. قد, it could be. تتركب, it could be made up of. Could تتركب من كلمتين, it could be made up of two words, such as Muhammad Jamil. Muhammad is beautiful. Right? وقد تتركب من أكثر, such as Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So it could be made up of two words or it could be made up of more than that. وكل كلمة, and every word فيها, in this jumla mufida, in this sentence, تعد جزءا منها, is considered, ta'uddu, is counted, is considered as a juz, a section or a portion of it. Right? Every word is considered a portion. So, in these sentences that we have here, we say Muhammad is the mubtada, and Jamil is the khabar. Here, Muhammad is the mubtada, and Rasulullah is mudaf ilayh, shibhu mudaf ilayh, shibhu jumla khabar. Each one of these has a role. Rasul, give me 1 second. Rasul has a role. Allah, the word Allah, lafdul jalala, has a role, and together they have a role. Every sentence could be made up of two or more words, and every word in it is considered a part of it, and it has a role. Is that clear?
No.
I don't think that's anything difficult. Nothing difficult in that section. أجزاء الجملة. أجزاء الجملة. The parts of the sentence. Al-Jumla is the sentence. أجزاء الجملة. مضاف مضاف إليه. جزء أجزاء. Right? Juz is the singular. أجزاء is the plural. أجزاء الجملة. The parts of the sentence. Is أجزاء الجملة, is that kalam or not?
Could be.
Here, right here in this book, right here, what we're talking about.
Oh, this says here, parts of speech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like al-jumlatul mufida is speech. It's kalam. Here, أجزاء الجملة هي القواعد. Or هذا الباب يتكلم عن أجزاء الجملة. Right? Same thing. Same thing as we had above. So it becomes speech. Right? Al-Qawaid. Again, Al-Qawaid. It can be speech or it cannot be speech. Here it's speech. Right? Al-Qawaid. في أجزاء الجملة هي الكلمات الثلاثة أنواع. هكذا. So there's something after it or something before it that makes this a complete sentence. Now, like I said, if I put Muhammad here, I get rid of this and I put Muhammad. Does that make sense in the book? No. But if I say, hey, Qawaid, does that make sense to you? Do you have a complete idea? Yeah, the qawaid for the ajza of the jumla are the following. There's a whole lot missing there, but it's understood. So, the qawaid here is kalam. I'm just going over the rule. I'm just being picky, going over the rule, right? Details. Number 3. Al-kalimatu thalathatu anwa'. Al-kalimatu, the word, or words here, al-kalimatu thalathatu anwa'in. There are 3 types. Words are 3 types. This alif lam here is not the alif lam of the. It's not the alif lam of the word the, of ta'rif, meaning the, making it definite. Here it's the alif lam of jins, meaning the type or the genre of something, right? It's the genre of something. So here we're not talking about the word, we're talking about words in general. The genre, words. Thalathatu anwa'. Words are 3 types. Ismun wa fi'lun wa harfun. Is there a 4th type of word in Arabic? Is there something outside of these 3 types of words? And on this page right here, is there anything which is not an ism, a fi'l, or a harf?
Nah.
Right? Exactly. Every word in Arabic is going to be one of these 3. Every one of these words is going to be one of these 3. Ismun wa fi'lun wa harfun. You're never going to have a word or something go outside of that in Arabic. Fal ismu. So the noun. An ism is a noun. A fi'l is a verb. A harf is a particle. Fal ismu. And some people say article or this and that, but particle is what I know. Right? Fal ismu. The noun or nouns. This alif lam is not necessarily the noun. So the noun. No. So nouns And then these little two dots mean are. Kullu lafdhin. Kullu lafdhin. Yusamma bihi insan. That is called with it a person. O hayawan, or an animal. O nabat, or a plant. O jamad, or an inanimate object. O ayyi shay'in akhar, or anything else. Anything that has a name is a noun. Anything that you call a name is a noun. Is that clear? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
طيب.
Can you hear me?
Now I hear you guys. So, there's nothing that's going to go outside of these three, and every noun is a word which something is named by or called by. It has a name, such as a person, an animal, a plant, an inanimate object, or anything other than that. That's a noun. I'm sure we know what a noun is in English, right? The noun in Arabic is the same as the noun in English. Although there might be other nouns that fall into it in Arabic, such as adjectives. In English, I'm not sure if we consider them to be nouns, but in Arabic, an adjective is a noun, right? It has a name. It's red, right? It's green, right? Then this is a noun. طيب. الفعل. Verbs. والفعل. This again, the jints. And verbs are. Them two little dots mean are. They are. كل لفظ يدل على حصول عمل في زمن خاص. الفعل, the verb, or verbs, are كل لفظ. They're every speech, every pronunciation. يدل, which points to. على حصول, to the occurrence, عمل, of an action. على حصول عمل, to the occurrence of an action. في زمن خاص, in a specific time. زمن, time, خاص, specific. So the verb is every speech that points to the occurrence of an action in a specific time. Is that clear?
No.
So, nouns, and I'm going to give a different part of the definition here that's not there, just so we know it, so we understand. Nouns are every word which something has a name. If you call it something, then it is a noun. And it has nothing to do with time. When I say Muhammad, it has nothing to do with time. When I say clock, Sa'a, has nothing to do with time. When I say Jidar, Masjid, Bait, Asir, none of these words have to do with time. They're nouns. They don't have to do with time. While fi'l has to do with a time, a specific time. And we have two basic times. Right? We have the Madi, and we're going to go over this. It's coming. Madi, which is the past. The Mudari, which is the present. And the Amr, which is the command. Asking for something to happen in the future. Even if it means the immediate future. Right now. As soon as I say sit, I want you to sit right now. But it's something I want done in the future. Right? Wal harf. And particles, again, the alif lam is the alif lam of jints, meaning not the particle, but particles. Kullu lafdhin, are every pronunciation or every speech. La yudhir ma'nahu, its meaning is not apparent. It does not become apparent. Yudhir. معناه, its meaning does not become apparent, كاملا, completely, إلا مع غيره, except with other than it. So the word min, right? Min, or ila, or ala, or fi, or rubba, or an, or ba, or kaf, or lam. All of these, right? All of these, we could say min in generally means from, right? But sometimes it means more than, depending on when we say ajmalu min. When we say ajmalu minhu, more beautiful than him. Min doesn't mean from anymore, it means then. And fi, we say in general means in. But when we say Allah says, Allah fis sama, Allah fis sama, that he is above the sky. It doesn't mean in here. So, al-harf, kullu lafdhin la yudhiru ma'nahu kamilan illa ma'a ghayrihi. That its meaning does not become clear completely except with other than it. Is that clear? طيب. It's clear, huh? You guys could hear me? Abdullah, Amir? Abdullah. Amir. Okay, I don't hear you guys for some reason. Abu Sumaya, you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. But I don't hear Abdullah and I don't hear Amir. Can you hear them?
I can hear them.
Do you hear Amir too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard Amir.
I hear Abdullah now. And Amir says he hears me. Okay.
Yeah, I hear you.
طيب. Are there...
Been hearing you.
Okay, I just want to make sure because I can't hear you. So if it happens, I don't want to be talking and you don't hear me. So do you understand this? Ajza al-jumla, the parts of the sentence.
No. No.
طيب. Now we come to, so for instance, we have, if we were to make a chart, we could take one page, and this is something that you should do. This is something that you should do. You should have yourself a chart, a notebook for grammar. So you put on a page, al-jumla al-mufida. Al-mufida, the beneficial sentence. And you say, for instance, it equals kalam or al-kalam, however you want to put it. It equals al-kalam. And then you say, made up of kalimatain أو أكثر, right? Then you can say الجملة المفيدة. You could have another page or just draw a line and you say اسم فعل حرف. And if you want, you write the definitions. Same thing for al-jumla mufida. You can write the definition. But at least you want to make a chart. Al-jumla mufida is made up of ism, or fi'l, or harf. Or maybe you want to say here instead of this, it doesn't matter. You say ajza al-jumla. Right? Ajza al-jumla. Because you say, you know what? not every sentence is going to have all three of these parts. So therefore, this might not make sense to me. No problem. I myself, it would have made sense to me, but somebody else might not make sense to them. But if I put ajza al-jumla, that makes perfect sense. Now, I can leave it like that, or I can make another page. I can make another page and I can say, you know what? Or I can write a line, however it works. I can say al-fi'l, and I can divide it into, right, al-madi, al-mudari, and al-amr, as we're going to get to right here. So we say taqseemul fi'l, but you should be doing this. You make yourself a chart. If you write it down, it's going to make you own this information. If you just sit here and you just look at it and this and that, you might benefit some, but you're not going to benefit what you can benefit if you write it down. Taqseemul fi'li bi'i'tibari zamanihi. Taqseemul fi'l, the division of the verb, the division, taqseem, from qassama yuqassimu, taqseem. Taqseemul fi'li, the division of the verb, bi'i'tibari zamanihi. I'tibar, meaning with considering zamani, its time. Basically dividing the verb up according to its times. Its time. Or to time. So we have number one. And again, this is a complete sentence. If you were just to see this on a piece of paper with nothing else on it, taqseemul fi'l bi'atibar zamanihi, the division of a verb with regards to its time, you would say, okay, what about that? That makes no sense to me. However, here we say هذا الباب يتكلم عن تقسيم الفعل باعتبار زمني. This chapter is talking about the division of the verb according to its time. And it makes sense if we put something before it or after it. Right? تقسيم الفعل باعتبار زمنه ينقسم إلى ثلاثة أقسام. Whatever, it's divided into three types. We can put something before or after it, it becomes kalam. Al-fil madi, same thing. We can put something before or after it. The past tense verb. So we want to go here and we say al-madi in our chart. Right? We say al-madi. Al-qawaid. Al-fi'l madi. Al-fi'lu al-madiyu, or al-madi, because this ya, it's fil naqis, it's naqis, so therefore we're not going to put the ya on it. We're just going to say al-fi'lu al-madi. Right? Huwa kullu fi'lin. It's every verb. Yadullu ala husuli amalin fi zaman al-madi. It's every verb which shows or points to or leads to or directs us to the occurrence of an action. Husuli amali. The occurrence of an action fi zaman al-madi, in the past tense. We know that. When we say past tense verb, we already understand that in English. I'm just helping you understand this sentence here. Huwa kullu fi'lin yadullu ala husuli amalin fi zaman al-madi. That the fi'l madi, the past tense, is every verb which shows or points to the occurrence of an action in the past tense. Clear?
Clear.
طيب. الفعل المضارع. الفعل المضارع. We're going to write this down here in our chart. Right? الفعل المضارع, the present tense verb. هو كل فعل يدل على حصول عمل في زمن الحاضر. It is the every verb which points to or shows the occurrence of an action in the zaman al-hadir, the present time. Another word for mudari. Some people say al-fi'l hadir, the present tense. Hadir means current. Right here, present. For instance, if we were taking attendance in class, I would say, I would be looking at my attendance sheet and I wouldn't be looking up at the class necessarily. I would see this name here. I'd say Abdullah. You would say Hadir and raise your hand. hadir, present. Right? Oh, or al-mustaqbal, or the future. Or the future. Right? So the fi'l mudari is something that talks about al-hadir, the present tense, or the future. Or the future. Not as a command, but for instance, sofa ya'lamun. They are going to know. Ya'lamun, ya'lamun, sofa. Sofa places us in the future. But ya'lamun, meaning they will know. This here is a present tense verb. Sofa makes it in the present, in the future. But the verb itself is it's considered a present tense verb. So fi'l mudari is not a command, i'lam, but it's a present tense verb talking about the future. So الفعل المضارع هو كل فعل يدل على حصول عمل في زمن الحاضر أو المستقبل or مستقبل. ولا بد أن يكون, and no doubt, ولا بد, that's a good word for you, it's easy, ولا بد, no doubt, it's necessary, أن يكون, that it becomes مبدوءا, it becomes beginning from بدأ يبدأ, that it begins بحرف من أحرف المضارعة, from the present, with a letter from the present tense letters, present tense حرف, وهي الهمزة والنون والياء والتاء. Hamza, noon, ya, and ta. A present tense verb is going to begin with one of these. Yajlisu, tajlisu, ajlisu, najlisu. You sit, he sits, you sit, I sit, we sit. Every present tense verb is going to begin with one of these four letters. La bud. أن يكون مبدوءا بحرف من أحرف المضارعة وهي الهمزة والنون والياء والتاء. Right? And so you could look here and you could say, if you want it, right? You could say, just for your own self, Hamza, Noon, Ya, and Ta. Right? I don't know. It's just a thought. And over here is the Amr. And you could also divide this off if you want it and say Hadir, Hadir, and Mustaqbal. Just the idea. Right? Something that help you get the entire picture here. Do you understand what I just went over there in the fi'l mudari?
No.
طيب. Fi'l amr, and then we'll conclude because it's our time basically. Al fi'l amr, and we already wrote it here, right? Fi'l amri, the verb of command. Right? The verb of command. هو كل فعل يطلب به. Every verb يطلب, which is sought به, by it. Not يطلب, not it seeks, but يطلب به. It is sought with it. It is sought by it. That verb. It is sought with that verb or by that verb. حصول شيء. حصول. Asif. Husula shay'in is the maf'ulun bihi of yutlab. And that means it should be a dhamma because it is na'ib al-fa'il here. Right? Yutlabu bihi husulu shay'in. It is sought by it the occurrence of something fi zamani al-mustaqbali, in the future. Right? But it doesn't necessarily have to begin with an alif or a ya or a ta or a noon. You understand? So that's the difference. That's the difference, right? That it is that when you give a command verb, you are requesting by that the occurrence of something in the future, even if it's immediately right now. The same way the past tense can be something that just happened right now, such as for instance, I drew that line. I drew that line. I drew that line. It happened right there, but that drew was the past tense. The same as I say, draw a line. Draw a line. Draw a line. The action was right after I said it. It was the future from when I said it. I said command, draw a line. And it happened. Or I drew it, right? Or you drew it, however you want to look at it. So the fi'l madi is every verb which takes place in the past tense, even if it happened just now. And the fi'l mudari, the present tense verb, is every verb which points to the occurrence of an action in the present or the future, and it must begin with an alif or a hamza or noon, a ya or a ta. And the fi'l amr, the command verb, is every verb which is sought by it the occurrence of something in the future time, even if it means immediately as soon as I say it. Clear?
Now, will that have an alif, ya, ta, and a nun?
Not necessarily. It could,
Okay.
such as in ijlis, but it's not a hamza, right? For the fi'l mudari, it must be a hamza with the hamza there. This ijlis is not a hamza; it's just an alif, so it's different, right? Now, could it have a ya? Of course, it could be, for instance, yassir. I'm telling you, make it easy on him. Yassir. Yassiru. Wala tuassiru. As the Prophet ﷺ said, yassir. Make it easy. Right? So this ya, though, is not an extra ya. This is not the ya of the huruf al-mudari'. This is the ya of the word itself. Right? The root letter. You understand?
No.
So we could say Bashir. Give good news. Bashir. It doesn't have an alif, a ya, or a hamza, a ya, a ta, or a noon. It begins with a ba because it's form 2 and I don't need to put this alif in front of it. Is that clear?
No.
Tayyib. Inshallah ta'ala, tomorrow we're going to meet and we're going to go over. Let's see what the next rule section is. Al-Fa'il. Al-Fa'il. Is this kalam here?
No.
Naam. Al-Babu. بعد تقسيم الأفعال. تقسيم الأفعال هو الفاعل. So I put something ahead of it and made it a complete sentence. طيب. Inshallah, tomorrow we'll get there and we'll knock this out. Hopefully it's clear. If not, send me any questions. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.